took 15 days. It was 15 days to the weigh-in, 16 days to the fight. I was sitting about 85.5 kilo, and I had to cut to 70 kilo. I made 155. I actually took the fight not thinking I was going to make the weight. I spoke to my manager, I spoke to my coach. What we do, I don't think I could make the weight. And then I remember asking my manager at the time, like, what is it? Is it a contract? Is it a one fight? He said it's a 4-fight contract. I spoke to my coach, and then we all kind of agreed, look, we're taking it, definitely taking it. Went in kind of believing that I was going to miss weight. And I just started on the 3 weeks to shredded. Anybody that knows the Dolce diet, I just started on that. But so on the 3 weeks to shredded, basically the Dolce diet, it's repetitive. Basically, it's like the same stuff, but it just gets stricter on week 2 and week 3. So I just went straight into week 3, like the strictest week, and that's usually when you're not doing any training either. You know, it's like you've already kind of done your fight camp, you've just to make the weight. And it's like very minimal food. I done that diet while training twice a day, and the whole fight camp was just. I remember I seen James speaking about this on his podcast not that long ago as well. But the whole fight camp was just to try and make weight. It was just cardio stuff. It wasn't really any game plan. Just try and make weight, lose weight, and we did go over some stuff. Like one of my teammates, Danny Gray. He's kind of the best jiu-jitsu guy and my teammates at the time anyway. So I was doing a lot of stuff with him. He was trying to do deep half guard with me and do leg locks because that's what the guy was good at. And I was just obviously reacting. James showed me some stuff to keep the knee in and to stop the deep half and stuff like that. But yeah, mostly the whole fight camp was just make weight, go in there and dominate the guy. Like the guy was a BJJ black belt leg lock specialist. I remember watching it, like if you watch it back, Dan Hardy's going on about how good this guy is. He was just in the gym training with him that week, and he was tying him up in knots. And to be honest, like if you watch it, I nearly submitted him a good few times. Kind of unorthodox rear naked choke hard on him. He got saved by the bell with my head and arm choke. And then he tried to pull a leg lock for standing, and ended up giving me the mount, and I just beat the shit out of him for it. Got the TKO. That was brilliant. My daughter, he was due to be born April 15th, and my fight was April 11th. So I was kind of risking missing the birth as well. But luckily, obviously, when I was over there, got the fight, got the win, came back home, and then she was born the 18th, which is tomorrow. 18th of April, because it's been 17th, it's April 18th tomorrow. She's 5 tomorrow. So that'll be obviously on the 11th, a week ago. That was my first fight in the UFC. It was 5 years ago. That's 5 years I've been in the UFC now. But even that I'm quite proud of, because there's been a lot of high-level guys in the UFC, like especially UK guys as well. Like I can't think of a lot of them, but people that know their stuff will know there's been very high-level UK guys in the UFC. But to stay in the UFC for 5 years, it's tough. To get to the UFC is tough. To stay there is even tougher.
Especially nowadays when they've got such a big pool, such a big roster of fighters, that if you suddenly lose a couple of fights, they'll just cut you. Everybody underneath is desperate to get in there. So if you've lost a couple of fights, or they don't see you're making the effort, or your contract's expired, they would easily just bin you, I would think, and get somebody else in. So even staying in the UFC for 5 years is unbelievable.
Especially when you fight in the lightweight division, which is like the most stacked, full of killers. Like I was looking at the top 15 a wee while ago. It was a couple of months ago. I remember thinking, like, who would I like to fight? And every one of them are beasts. I'd fight any of them, obviously, but I'm like, I think number 15 was like Nate Diaz or something. You know what I mean? That just shows you, like, Khabib, Conor, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, like, just fully killers. Aye, like, don't get me wrong. See, if like I said, if this was me done, I'd be proud of what I've done. I came. Anybody that knows me, like, for way back as well, I came for absolute nothing. I lived in the kind of roughest place in the whole of Kirkcaldy, probably. Brought up in the Bronx, if you like. Never had any money or anything like that, and I've made a bit of money in the UFC. I've bought myself a house. I own my cars. So I'd be happy. I'm not done. There's still a lot more I'd like to achieve in the UFC. I'd like to get into the top 15. That's the next kind of goal.